Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Dayton. Welcome to my channel, Dayton Does Stuff. This is a video for writers, and it's all about the 4 story types put forth by Orson Scott Card, writer of Ender's Game. Check it out. Okay, so Orson Scott Card was a writer, is probably still a writer, but he wrote Ender's Game, popular novel in the 90s. Back before he got famous, he wrote a blog post teaching his 4 types of stories that he believes drive plots. And these were elements of a story that help dictate what a plot might look like. Love this theory. I've been incorporating it into my writing a ton. So much so that I made some worksheets about it because I am a psychopath that loves worksheets. The 4 types of stories he points to are what he calls a milieu-based story, or a world-based story, fancy French word, an event-based story, character-driven stories, or idea-driven stories. He says that these stories might have all the 4 elements, but the author is going to push one of these 4 elements more so, and that's going to dictate the exact plot or structure of that work. Let's talk about the first one, a milieu. Again, it's essentially a French fancy word for a world. These are stories like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or Gulliver's Travels, where the main character, sure, they might have a nice character arc, they might have an interesting enough event might happen, they might even push a nice allegorical idea, but really the focus of the story is traveling around and them seeing a really fucking crazy world. Think of Terry Pratchett's Color of Magic. It really is exploring the world that some people live on a turtle's back floating through the galaxy. The next one is going to be an event story. These are things like disaster movies. Something where some shit went down, maybe an alien attacks, Independence Day. But you can also think Lord of the Rings is more of an event-driven story. Sure, it is a fascinating world, but really it's all centered around this giant war coming from Sauron being a dickhead. The next one is going to be a character-driven story. These character-driven stories, sure, have all the other shit like I've been talking about, but they really focus on a strong inner change within a character. Think Scrooged is really the best example. He didn't just learn that was kind of fun. It wasn't like Always Sunny in Philadelphia where the characters learned nothing, ever. He had a full 180-degree switch in his point of view. That's a character story in Orson Scott Card's theory. He went from being a greedy dick to being a really generous guy. Total swap. The last one is an idea-based story, maybe idea-driven. This, he explains it one way, and I'll put a link to the blog post below so you can see yourself, but I interpret it a little differently. How I see it is these idea-driven stories are possibly more allegorical in nature. They're pushing a stronger sense of theme, or maybe there's just some information that the story itself is trying to convey to you, as opposed to a character learning something, or an event having some interesting thing happen. It's trying to convey an idea. The example Scott Card gives is of mysteries, whodunits. You're trying to find out who the fuck is the bad guy, and it really is spelling out a big sense of right versus wrong a lot of times. Maybe those larger thoughts. One story I really like, and I'll put a link to that below also, is H.G. Wells' Magic Shop. Basically, a dad and his kid find a secret door, go in, there's a really corny old, magic vendor showing them tricks, and they're real magic. And he keeps saying this genuine magic tagline that's really corny, because it's an older story. But the entire point of that story is every time this magician shows them a magic trick, the kid is like, this is sick. And the adult is like, these are kind of scary and sadistic. the idea being pushed by that story is that we see things differently from when we're a kid to being an adult. And sometimes things that seemed harmless when we were children seem scary when we're adults. That is an idea-driven story in my mind. So how I've been using these is like a psychopath. I made worksheets because I love worksheets. So on my website, Dayton Does Stuff, I'll put a link to these worksheets below. And what I do is when I have an idea, I go to my idea-driven story worksheet, I fill it out, it helps me pop out what protagonist I might need, what the general plot might look like. I had one the other day of a spaceship mechanic steals a car magazine. That's an event-driven idea. So I put it into the event worksheet and I filled that out and it helped me flesh out the idea a little more. Again, links below. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, give me some comments whether you like this shit or not, because I have no idea. I'm just talking to a camera right now. So, hope you guys have a good day. Peace.